South region. Baylor, number 1 seed. What do you got?
Yes. Don't. I think they'll get a first half out of one of the teams in their section. I feel like Baylor will beat Hartford, and then they'll probably play against Wisconsin the next game, and then they'll get a half of good basketball. But Baylor, I don't see anybody until they get to the Elite Eight stopping, or even I look at Coach Painter's team. Like they're good and it can cause some problems, but I feel like Baylor guard wise, they have too much of an arsenal offensively and defensively on the perimeter. Mm-hmm. Like that no other team can. Wisconsin, like Hartford, no team there can stop Baylor from doing what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm worried about Baylor defensively. And we just on the stadium show was just on. We actually talked to Scott, and he said that they basically had 1 day of practice between coming back, like 1 day of actual practice that wasn't traveling, that wasn't a shoot around, that wasn't trying to save your legs, that wasn't actually playing games, that wasn't traveling. 1 day of practice since they started playing games. One real, actual, honest-to-God day of practice. And he basically said, like what we've been saying this whole time, their rotations are they're not there. Think about it like this. If you haven't shot a jump shot in 21 days, what's your jump shot going to look like? It's not going to be great. So they have not been practicing their rotations in 21 days. And so their rotations are just not quite as crisp as you need it to be. So, yeah, I mean that's my take on it right there. I do think that they're going to be better once the tournament, or once they get these couple of days of practice in. But that's the biggest concern with me now. Where I think that they have a really interesting matchup is in the second round potentially against North Carolina, because I think you can make the argument that Baylor's best 5 is when they have Vital at the 5 and then the 4 guards, but like Flagler, Butler, Teague, and Davion out there. And you know that there are always going to be 2 bigs on the floor when North Carolina plays. They're going to attack the glass, and that's the place where you can beat Baylor. So if that happens, that's a place where I do think that they can get picked off.
Yeah, for some reason I kind of think Wisconsin would win that game. I feel like trusting older guards. Caleb Love has been good, but I just trust older guards. And obviously, I'm a Demetric Trice fan, so let's get that out the way. That's my guy.
That's your guy. You ride or die, man. Now's the time.
I mean, once again, I just feel like Garrison Brooks and is it Sharp?
Yeah, Da'Ron Sharp.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like Da'Ron and Garrison, they'll do fine, but not as well against Reavers and Potters. I feel like they've had a terrible wrapping up the Big Ten. And I feel like they know this is I would hope they know this is their last opportunity against the tournament. So I kind of think that an older guard will take advantage of a younger one in this scenario as far as the Wisconsin and North Carolina game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. So what do you think is the best first round matchup? And do you see any upsets that kind of jump off the page at you?
I like the Florida-Virginia Tech. I'm actually looking forward to seeing who will walk away from that. The North Carolina and the Wisconsin one is really good as well. I mean, but if I had to pick, I would like to see Florida and Virginia Tech. I think it'd be good to see Trey Mann play against the experienced Virginia Tech backcourt. Like, these guys are dogs. So they play with a certain style of basketball, and I can't wait to see if Florida's guards are tough enough to get by that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I'm worried about Virginia Tech is they kind of came off of a recent pause, but at this point, by the time the tournament starts, it'll be 6 days, 6 more days, something like that, whatever it is. Yeah. So the matchup I'm really intrigued to see is Texas Tech against Utah State. Utah State's got a center named Namish Keita, who is just an absolute monster, a defensive beast. He put like 17 shots through the backboard during the Mountain West Conference tournament. He's been really, really, really good. And they have some guys around him that can make shots. They have some playmakers. So I do think that Utah State, even though they don't have Sam Merrill, I think that is a good team that just matches up well with what Texas Tech wants to do. So I do think that that's going to be interesting. You know, Texas Tech has had a lot of success recently on the offensive glass and with guys getting to the rim and Micah Peavy kind of making some plays in and around the bucket. So I do think that's going to be interesting. I think that Texas Tech will get by them. The place where I see an upset is the obvious one. Winthrop over Villanova. Winthrop's really, really good. They're going to run. They're going to shoot a lot of threes. They got a kid named Chandler Vaudrin, who's a 6'7" Division II transfer at the point that he put up 3 triple doubles this year. He's a great passer. He really just kind of orchestrates everything they do offensively. They've one loss this season, and it came by 2 points. Now they haven't really played anybody, but you go 22-1, you're doing something right. And matching up with a team that doesn't have a great point guard is something that I think that they're going to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, I mean they have him, and they got a guy that's he may be DJ Barnes, I believe. He's pretty tough. Like they chance. I mean, Villanova. So, and this is not the same Villanova team we saw, and even then we still thought that same Villanova team was still missing something. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a great chance. I still think Villanova will pull this one out. I feel like hopefully Justin Moore is he back?
Yeah, he played. He wasn't fully healthy, but he played.
Yeah, so like having Justin Moore there, and they'll have some guard ready to at least get Villanova by the first team. I mean, so I can't see Villanova really losing. They got a chance.
What matchups are you really looking? Are you really hoping that will happen at some point in this bracket?
I am looking forward to Ohio State and Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech actually can get to the Sweet 16, and I'm hoping Mac McClung can have a better tournament than he's had his last, I would think, maybe 4 or 5 games. He's been I would say inconsistent as far as scoring. I feel like teams have been pressing him a little bit more, making him do more than he needs to do. I think around the tournament time he should be fine, and I would love to see Texas Tech get to the Sweet 16 to play against Ohio State to see which guard will have the best matchup between Mac McClung and Dwayne Washington.
Yeah, Dwayne was so good today. he was unbelievable against Illinois. Honestly, I think Ohio State is a team that's kind of flying under the radar heading into the tournament right now. I mean, look, I know they had a rough end to the Big Ten regular season schedule, but there's been no team better than Illinois over the course of like the last 4 weeks. And Ohio State could have, maybe arguably should have beaten them in the Big Ten tournament title game. Dwayne Washington, when he plays like this, is an ultimate difference maker. We know how good E.G. Liddell can be. And look, they did all that without Kyle Young, who was out with the results of a concussion symptoms. The other sleeper that I really like in this part of the bracket is Purdue. Matt Painter's really got them playing well. Their young guys have been effective, and I like them because one, I think that they have a pretty fairly good matchup against North Texas. North Texas is good, don't get me wrong, but that's kind of strength on strength. And when you have strength on strength in a matchup like a 4-13, then I'm just going to bet on the team that has more talent and the bigger conference. And then you get either a wounded Villanova or Winthrop in the second round. So I think that that's fairly easy for Purdue. Easy is the wrong word. I think that's a fairly good path for Purdue. And then if you get Baylor in the Sweet 16, I think that's a matchup I think Purdue can win because, again, they have so much size inside and so many big bodies that I think that they can take advantage of the small lineups that that Baylor wants to play. It's kind of what they do is kind of similar, and how they play is kind of similar to North Carolina in the sense that they're kind of built around getting the ball into the paint and operating through their bigs and Zach Edey and Trevion Williams. So that would be interesting. Purdue is one that I'm looking at. All right, I need your Elite Eight, and I need your Final Four coming out of Elite Eight and Final Four coming out of the South.
Let me go. It'll be Baylor and Ohio for my Elite Eight. I think Baylor will play Ohio State, and it'll be interesting because E.J. Liddell won't have that mismatch factor that he normally has over the bigs that he has in the Big Ten. But still, even with Vital there, I still think E.J. Liddell will still find a way to get a basket, man. He's been nothing short of amazing. The last, I would say, like 6 games or so. He's played great. He's been there constant offensively. So I look forward to watching those guys play.